So today I am just out clipping off some of my greenery for my trees. I am having some ladies over for a crafting night, a Christmas crafting night, and we're just going to make some live greenery baskets. Yeah, so I thought I'd come and just get some of the greens for my trees. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, probably about 4 different kinds of evergreens. So that'll give us some good options to work with. So should be fun. So last night I had a group of ladies over just for a little Christmas crafting evening. It was kind of last minute in the planning, so kind of tried to come up with something fairly quickly that was easy to put together. This was a really busy work week for me, so I didn't have a lot of time to invest in preparing crafts and things like that. So, but I had 6 of these little baskets. I had picked them up at a thrift store for $1.25 for all 6 of them. That's, you know, an incredible steal. So here's one of the finished products. So each of the ladies got to make one and take one home. This is mine. But yeah, it was just really fun and simple. So I thought I'd kind of show you what we did and encourage you to think about maybe having some friends over and doing the same thing. So, all right, well, let's get started. Hello. So I have been planning on doing an update for all of you on my painting project and how much money I put into it, and products I liked, which ones worked good, why I liked them, that kind of thing. And the weather is very cold again this weekend, and so I just decided rather than trying to tough it out at my house, I would take some time and update you on that project. So yeah, so let's dive in. So to start with, you might remember that I had talked about, you know, the pros and cons of painting my siding versus replacing the siding. If you've watched, I have a video called 5 Questions Answered, and it's basically just different questions people have about what I'm doing with this restoration project. That I kind of answer in there is kind of like, how do you decide what you're doing, you know, the steps to take and that kind of thing. And initially I was planning on putting new siding on the house. I thought that that was really the only way to get the good insulation value that the house needs, because it's 2x4 construction, not 2x6, which most modern homes have. So to get enough insulation in, I didn't think I could do that without putting like foam board insulation on the outside of the house and then putting new siding on. But through some research and different things, I've realized this summer that I probably could keep my original wood siding, but I still wasn't sure if that was like the best route to go. Like, I was concerned, you know, with upkeep, everybody talks about like, well, if you've got wood, then you've got to repaint it every, you know, however many years, and which is true. But for me, as I looked at the whole grand scheme of things, for one, painting siding is something way more in my capability level. Like, not that I couldn't learn to put on siding, but realistically, scraping, priming, painting is way easier. Now, I do need to replace some boards. That is a little more complicated. I did not get into that yet with the project. Basically, I kind of worked my way around that, as some of you know from watching, and painted those boards that need replacing and caulked the cracks that are really bad in them. Some of the boards are pretty dry rotted, but for now it has waterproofed the house, so it's a kind of a temporary fix with those boards. But the rest of the siding was honestly in pretty good condition. I did spend a lot of money on wood filler, which didn't shock me, but just before this video, I was adding up receipts and things to see how much I actually spent on things. So maybe I'll start there with what I've put into the project so far financially, and where that's at. So if I was to re-side the house, I was looking at fiber cement siding. And so that I had estimated was going to be probably close to $3,000 to re-side it. So far, for everything that I've put into the project, I have spent just about $750. And I still have paint, I still have primer. I will, going forward, have to buy more wood filler. And obviously once I start replacing boards, that will be an additional cost. But so yeah, for like less than a third of the cost, or even if you figure with some of those other expenses, even if it's half the cost in the end of putting up siding. Now, granted, I'm sure it won't last, 30 years like the fiber cement siding is rated to last, but for me being able to move into the house, this is a way better option. So, yeah, the wood filler. So I'll start there with my product reviews. So I got this wood filler from Ace, and it was a lot cheaper than a wood filler like this. And I was thinking it was just because this is an easy applicator. This style has a tip that you cut off and can just fill a crack. So I thought, well, I don't need to do that. I can use a putty knife, no big deal. Now, I don't know if it was just this particular can of wood filler from Ace, or if this is the norm, but I don't know if you'll be able to see. It is just very thick. it was very hard to work with and was definitely making the job take a lot longer, and I didn't feel like it was working great either. So that one was a no-go for me. Again, maybe it was just this particular can, and I should probably take it back to Ace and at least ask them about it. They're really good about things. I've been really happy with their customer service, so it probably would be worth just talking to them about. But yes, was not a fan of that product. This is the product from Minwax that I wound up using the most of. I have spent so far almost $180 just on wood filler. Which is kind of funny to me, but not shocking. Like, once I started getting into it and seeing how much wood filler I was going through, I was like, I'm gonna spend a fair amount on wood filler. The reason I don't feel bad about that is, for one, it saves the work of replacing some boards. Now, where the boards that I caulked, those were definitely too far gone. But the boards that I was putting wood filler in, I was amazed. I haven't really worked with wood filler, so if you have, you already know this, but just how solid it makes a board. So I had boards with cracks running, half the length of the board. And after using wood filler, I mean, it's as hard as wood when you're done. So I really like that about it. I like the neutral color. It worked well working on my white house because then I could see where I had applied it. I like that product. Maybe I'll jump back to the prep work on the boards. So I had bought this, I'm trying to remember what they call it. Yeah, sanding block. It's Gator brand, and it's got these Velcro sandpaper pads that go on it. I saw it and I thought, that seems like it could be pretty useful, and it wasn't terribly expensive. Let's see, it was $10, and it's great. It works amazing. It's a kind of a hard foam, or not terribly hard, but stiff enough to give it the structure it needs, but soft enough that it's easy on your hand, and it really did the trick. So I would definitely recommend that. Just saving the hassle of cutting pieces of cutting or ripping pieces of sandpaper to the right size and then putting it in a traditional block. This worked well for the price. I'm happy I bought that. And then my other two prep items. So I got both of these. I wasn't sure which one would work better on scraping paint from the house. This style scraper was $10. I think I got these at Ace. And originally I liked this one better. But in the end, when I wasn't being quite as detailed, I found the brush with just the scraper here on the back worked just as well. And I think this one, I don't have it in front of me right now, I think this one was only $5. So, but between the two, and I had people helping me, so it was nice to have options. But both of those were good options. Yeah, so switch to the primer here. So if you've watched my videos, you've seen me talk quite a bit about this product from Zinsser, Peel Stop Triple Thick, and basically it is meant for stopping peeling paint, creating a smoother finish, giving flexibility, and it worked fantastic. It's almost like a cross between a primer and a glue, I guess. But it did what it was touted to do, and I was just really happy with my house, how it worked. And it really went a long ways. Actually, one of the things that slowed down my painting project was that I had to order this from Menards, and it wasn't due in until the end of October. So that kind of pushed back my schedule some. So then I was trying to, this gallon came off of Amazon. But I used this gallon, and then I did buy 2 small quarts at Menards, so that's about 1.5 gallons. And then I had bought a big 5-gallon bucket from Menards. That's what I was waiting on. And I haven't even used half of the 5-gallon bucket that I bought. I've maybe used 1 gallon or 2 out of it. So foreseeably it should complete the project. So yeah, it works well. It wasn't, it seems to have good coverage. So overall, yeah, I was definitely happy with it and recommend it if you're painting old buildings of any kind. This handy little roller, little 4.5-inch roller, I saw it when I was picking up supplies, and I bought paintbrushes, and then, you know, I have regular rollers at home, but I thought, you know what, that could be handy, you know, the size of the siding, and that was a great tool. Like, it worked amazing. So that definitely sped things along. I did use this just for the primer, and then I did use a brush for the paint, just to get better coverage and even the brush strokes getting into the grain of the wood just a little better. But this definitely worked good. Yeah, and that brings us to the paint. Clark+Kensington, again, this is from Ace. They're one of their brands. And I chose the color Chalk and was really happy with that color. I know I've talked about that before, but there's so many different color whites out there, and I just liked the tone of this one. It's a little bit more of a cream tone to it, but still feels like a traditional white. It's just not quite as stark. So yeah, very happy with that. And again, I mean, this is considered a paint and primer in one. And you know, after painting one coat with it, it almost looked like enough. Now I went ahead and painted a second coat because I don't want to have to paint again anytime soon. So I was trying to make sure I had really good coverage on the siding. But yeah, that is holding up really well. Between the paint and the primer, and I got, let's see, I had bought 2 gallons of this before I started the house siding project. I wanted to test it on a little shed that I had at the house. So I had those 2 gallons, and then I bought 6 more gallons. Actually, it was on sale, which was awesome. So, but between the paint and the primer, that was like $450-ish. So again, not a terrible expense for a whole house, you know. And I think I still have 3 full gallons, and then this is a partial. So again, should be enough to finish the project, which is great. Maybe need another gallon, but that would probably be the most. And then the final products, which, I mean, I just thought Caulk was Caulk, but I found that that was not the case. This, I don't even know what brand this is. White Lightning brand. Basically it looks, you know, you read the description and it sounds very much like this DAP brand. But honestly, it just didn't apply as well. I was not as happy with it. I had gotten this from Menards, and I had gotten this from Ace, I believe. Nope, other way around. This was from Menards and this was from Ace. Granted, I'm sure you can get them anywhere, but this one just had a way better application. It was easier to use. One thing I noticed with this one is when you use the caulk gun and you've got pressure on it, when you release the pressure, you know, you shouldn't be getting more caulk coming out. It should stop. But this one still seemed like it was always just making a mess, where this one would stop when I released the pressure. So, and it seemed like it was getting caught more, like as I was applying pressure. So yeah, not a big difference, but if you're looking for caulk recommendations, there's my recommendations. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the way the project turned out. Anxious to keep moving on it come spring and get it completed, but it was really fun getting to work on it, and now every time I drive by my house, it just looks so much better, so, which is nice. But yeah, I think that's it for this week. Like I said, it's been kind of it was very cold this weekend, and during the work week I was very busy, so the weekend was kind of all the chance that I had to get out there, and decided well, wind chills today I think were below 0, so I decided staying at home by the wood stove was a better option. But I hope you guys are all having a great week. If you have questions about any of the products that I shared about, please let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next week.